Well, good evening, everyone. What a 10 days it has been here in Connersville, Indiana. Hasn't it been something here? My name is Betsy Ross, and I am a proud native of Connersville, maybe no prouder than after these last 10 days of our Bicentennial celebration. And it is my honor to lead the closing ceremonies tonight as we end our 10-day celebration of the Bicentennial and really start looking forward to a new future and new hope here for the city of Connersville. We are all hoping that this is the momentum that will spring us to greater and bigger and better things here in the future, and it is because of everything that you all have done over the last 10 days and, of course, the 3 years of preparation and planning that it's taken to get to this point. So we congratulate and thank all of you for your tireless work and your dedication and really the passion that you have put into the city of Connersville. And we thank all of you for your work over these last few months to make this Bicentennial as big of a success as it has been. To start us off tonight, I want to bring up Father Bob Mazzola. He has the invocation for us.
Come, let us worship the Lord. Let's sing his praises and give thanks to him forever. His glory lives on forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Father. Of course, every day was a special one here for our 10 days plus of the Bicentennial. I say plus because it really all got started the weekend before with the soapbox run. And if you had a chance to go out there and see those soapbox derby cars run, it was so much fun there on Ziegler Road to watch them come back, bring back the soapbox derby after 6 decades, and really the kids had such a great time, but I think the adults had just as good of a time, if not better, than what the kids did. So what we want to do is we want to bring up our day coordinators day by day. If you could just tell us some of the highlights of your day, and if there are folks that you want to thank, this is the time to do it, because I know that the day coordinators did what that job says, coordinate the day, but they had a lot of help to do it. So let's first bring up from the Soapbox Derby, Joe Minerick. Joe.
Thank you. For anybody who was out there, you may remember here are some numbers. 76 kids, 3 age categories over 2 days, and the registered boys outnumbered the girls 3-1, yet the women in my life reminded me multiple times that of the 6 winners and runners-up, 4 were girls. Many people have been asking, will this continue? And it will continue. Look for an announcement on July 18th. Thank you, and we had a great time, and best of all, the kids had a great time. Thank you. And then I also, on Friday the 28th, along with Donna Scott, her and I co-chaired the 28th, and I'll let Donna start.
The first event that we had on Friday, June 28th, was the Dignitaries Luncheon. It was held in the newly rededicated Roberts Building, and we served 140 meals, and I think it was great success. U.S. Senator Daniel Coates and our own representatives Cindy Zimke and Senator Jean Lysing were also present, as well as representative aides from Luke Messer's office. So we had the luncheon, and then we all survived the first rainstorm of the Bicentennial, and then we went to the Canal House for the opening ceremony. And that went very well. load off your back every time you can say that about an event. It went well. So the mayor read the opening proclamation. It was delivered on horseback and taken to the mayor by a messenger. And he and Mike both spoke to the opening of our bicentennial. So then I'll let Joe tell about the evening's festivities.
Well, then, as Donna mentioned, we had a rainstorm. So during the opening ceremonies, we're wiping off seats for the Vandals. They were fantastic. Then we followed that with the laser light show, which we got in just before another rainstorm.
That was it.
Rain is going to be kind of a continuing theme. I can feel it here as people get up there. I guess, we can keep in the back of my mind, if we ever have a drought in our area like we did last summer, if we ever have a drought, all we have to do is put on a 10-day bicentennial party and it's going to rain for the whole thing. So we'll be fine. But skies clear today and we are thankful for that. Day 2, earliest Settlers Day. Donna Schroeder headed that up. Donna? There you are.
Thank you very much. And first of all, I want to say thank you to so many people, my fellow historic Connorsville members, the home ec clubs, the questers, everyone who has helped me so much this week. And most of all, my husband Bob, who it's a good thing he retired because he now had a full-time job of helping me with what I was doing. And I will be eternally grateful. And I will fix you breakfast tomorrow. And I will cook a real supper tomorrow night for the first time in about 2 weeks. Some of my events were rained out. A lot of my music. I regret that. Nothing we could do about it. As Joe said, some things will go on. And we've learned this week through continuing things. My day consisted of long hunters and activities. Some of them were not really coordinated by me, but they were on my day, and I loved all of those things. The Northwest Long Hunters, if you missed them, you go find them somewhere because they were swell. The highlight of my day was the marriage of Vicki Colley and Zach Bishop, and they were our bicentennial bride and groom. And I have brought them with me today because I want you to know how gracious and sweet this couple is. And yesterday, if you watched the parade, they were in the McFarland carriage, waving bravely while they were soaking wet. And so I just want to wish them so much happiness, and I want to thank them again from the bottom of my heart for sharing their wedding with all of you and with the couples who were married 50 years or more who also renewed their vows that day. I think it was probably the sweetest day Connorsville could have hoped for. And I thank you all again. And some of these things will go on and on and on. We've proven that all week. We had 300 visitors yesterday at the courthouse and Elmhurst and the Canal House. And that's so wonderful to know that people still care about our heritage. And Historic Connorsville is going to make a pledge to keep that momentum going. So I want to present to you Mr. and Mrs. Zach Bishop and give them a big round of applause. Thank you all for everything.
Thank you, and congratulations. May your marriage stick around for the next bicentennial. Day 3 was Church and Community Day. Brian Powell. Brian? Okay. All right.
I was just the backup day coordinator for that day, but just for a short recap of my day, first it started with the worship service, community worship service down at the amphitheater, and we had a good crowd down there, and you could certainly tell, well, I was up here working at the dinner, I didn't get to go, but they said it was a church service because everybody sat up at the top and nobody sat down in front, so it was a very good church service, but a good crowd. Then we had the community church picnic here in the pavilion. We served nearly 1,500 people, and we had 27 churches of Fayette County come together to provide food for that picnic, which I really want to thank all those people that were involved in that. And then at 2 o'clock was our community band concert out here. We had a good crowd for. Jeff and Sherry Easter were down at the amphitheater at 5 o'clock. Even though it was raining a little bit, the show went on and got through that and stopped raining. So at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, I think it was 8 o'clock, was the historical pageant that was rained out the night before, so we did get that in also. But the nice thing about it was we saw dark clouds all the way around the park that day. We didn't get the rain. So thank you all for everybody that participated.
Thank you. Monday was day 4, Artists and Artisans Day. Marty and John Blummel. Marty?
If I would have known this, I certainly would have had John here instead of me. But we had a great time at the Miller Building. We started out our day with the Heritage Barn Quilt Trail Tours, which we had to make room for everybody to fit in buses as best we could because we had more people and we did buses. But I think everybody enjoyed that. Then we opened up the Miller Building to a lovely quilt show, flower show, and our still life art competition. The flowers were provided by the Fayette Garden Club, which Donna Scott helped with, and the Art Association, Whitewater Valley Arts Association on 28th Street, had the gallery open over there so that you could see all the lovely art there, as well as one of the winning murals in the Decorate Your Building contest. We finished up our time actually last night with a Bluegrass Bash. We had 4 great bands and we had over 300 people came to listen to them. And we want to thank everybody for coming to visit us and hope you had a good time.
Thank you, Marty. Day 5, Youth Are Our Future Day. Marianne Morris in charge of that. Marianne?
Thank you, Betsy. First, I want to report on the Honoring Our Elders luncheon that we had in May. That was one of the pre-bicentennial events. I want to thank Dan and Diane Flum and Ben and Rita Brunsman and Pat and Dwayne Kiefaber, who served on my committee. We thought maybe we'd have about 100 people come to that. It was for a luncheon for people over 80 years old in Fayette County, and we had reservations for 270. So we had to move it from the banquet room to the gymnasium, but we got all of them served in about 10 minutes, and we had a wonderful time that day. And so I appreciate everybody's support for that. I was chairman of the Youth Our Future Day, and we didn't have any rain that day, and we had a wonderful time. I think we had about 125 adult volunteers who helped with that. But before I tell you about that, I do want to thank Mike Sparks and Ed Harrell for being wonderful guys to work under. We have really appreciated their leadership. For Youth Day, we did have 15 different events, and our goal was to provide a fun day, an inexpensive day for families to come out and to just enjoy themselves. And I hope lots of kids went home that night and felt like it was really enjoyable. First, I want to thank Donna Scott, the Scout troops and leaders, Ann Frost, and Reverend John Johnson for the flag raising ceremony that morning. Thanks to Pat Kiefaber and Catherine Schlichty, who put on a wonderful doll breakfast on the portico at Elmhurst that day. To Drs. Dwayne and Scott Kiefaber, who provided kids wonderful opportunities at Smalley's Pond, the John Connor Nature Preserve. Kids went fishing and made rope and skipped stones and made slingshots and had a wonderful time. And I think that Smalley's Pond and that nature preserve are probably the best kept secrets in Fayette County. I had never been down there until this summer and could not believe what a wonderful place that is. I want to thank William Gray and the Whitewater Valley Railroad. They made the opportunity possible for kids to climb up into an engine and sit in the engineer's seat and to explore a caboose, and that was a great experience for kids. And to Ron Wood for a special day at his archaeological dig. We called it Hot Diggity Dig, and lots of kids had fun at the McCombs Pottery Shop site. To Dan and Diane Flum, and Andrew Stanley and Mary Swope for providing a wonderful birthday party down on the courthouse parking lot. Kids rolled hoops and did sewing carts and pumped water with a pump and tormented Sparky, the fire department Dalmatian, and did all kinds of things down there. Thanks to the Connersville Parks Department for providing free swimming at the pool all day, and they had a big crowd. To the CHS robotics team who brought their robot and put on a demonstration here in the pavilion. To several businessmen in Connersville who gave up part of their day, people like Roger and Mike Coons, who provided a Connersville version of Antique Roadshow. To business owner Justin Ling, who set up his Magic the Kingdom supplies at the Roberts Building so kids could play that game. To Mike Vanover, who had a wonderful turnout at the bowling alley. I could not believe when I went in there, every single alley was filled with kids and parents and grandkids because he provided dollar games and free shoes, and then he took kids on a tour back behind the pins to show how the machines work. A special thanks to Carrie Pfeiffer, who ran Junior Olympics here at the park for middle school kids, and then had this incredible hunt downtown for historic sites for high school kids. To Penny Pfeiffer and Brittany Gabbard, who were in charge of a pool party for high school kids that evening. And then we had Radio Disney downtown for elementary and middle school age kids. I do want to thank CVS for candy they donated, Justin Keel and Jim Riggling for donations, the Questers, the Women of the Masonic Lodge, the Connersville Fire Department, and a special thanks to the Parks Department here and to the Police Department, and to everybody in Connersville for making Connersville a caring place to raise our kids.
Thank you. That was probably one of the most fun days, I think, of the 10 days, especially when you saw the kids downtown in the scavenger hut. They were really having a good time there. Next day, day 6, 20s through 60s. Mike Stevens. Mike, you here? Mike, don't see him. Anybody work on that day that want to talk? Okay. All right. 20s through 60s days. That was day number 6.
Well, we got lucky. Our day, no rain all day long until the evening, then it rained some. But probably the highlights of my event was the Memory Lane Antique Show. We had a lot of folks come by that shared a lot of memories. We had a lot of Connersville items there. Lots of folks had never been through the Canal House. They was able to take those tours. I think it was a success, with no rain. Some of the other things I think Jay and Owen had worked on, I wasn't too involved with that. Sorry. Can you hear me now? Should I start over? But anyway, the Memory Lanes Antique Show was a very, very successful event, I feel, and the public library put an excellent display on for the day, walk through history. That was an excellent thing. So thanks for everybody that come down to visit. Thanks.
Day 7, of course, was July 4th, our big July 4th celebration, red, white, and blue. Gail Halberstadt was in charge of that. Gail? Gail, you're more my height, so I'll lower it a little bit.
We short folks have to stick together. Thank you so much. Our day started with a 21-gun salute. It was red, white, and blue day, and we had a 21-gun salute, and then the cannon fired. And that's how we started the 4th of July. Kellis Allen volunteered to help plant 10,000 American flags out front. For those of you who saw that field of red, white, and blue, it was spectacular, and I've heard a lot of great comments, and I know a lot of people have really appreciated that we honored our veterans that day.
We had the Oxford Brass come in. They played patriotic music. Then in the afternoon, the 38th Infantry Band of the National Guard. We had to move their concert. We had hoped to have it over by the flags, but it just didn't work out because of the rain. They came into the pavilion, provided a wonderful concert for those who heard it. It was popular music, patriotic music. And after that, we followed that with an honoring our veterans ceremony. Alan Terrell, a former Connersville grad, spoke on each of the 12 wars we were honoring. We have veterans buried in Fayette County from the Revolutionary War and veterans up through Afghanistan. So there were 12 wars that we honored with that field of flags, and with Alan's words. The band played, the cannon fired after each presentation, and it was just, I hope it was a moving experience for everyone. I wanted to thank Glenn Smith for helping work with Alan. Alan lives in Kokomo, the band was in Indianapolis, and we were here in Connersville, and the cannon couldn't see us, but it all worked out, and everybody, I think, had a really good time. There were 3 concerts in the evening, sponsored by the wife, and of course then we had the wonderful fireworks. It was really a wonderful experience. I hope everybody had a good time. We couldn't have planted all those flags. We couldn't have done it all without a lot of volunteer support, and we thank you all.
Thank you. Day 8, Transportation Day. Kathy Sturgeon. Oh, you're not Kathy Sturgeon.
Kathy Sturgeon is busy over at the museum part that she has in Expo Hall. If you haven't been there yet, you'll want to be sure and give that a visit. Transportation Day amounted to quite a number of activities going on in the park, and I'll start with the automobile show because that's something that I worked on and had great help. We had lots of sponsors for trophies that were available, and we ended up with about 140 cars, plus we featured Connersville made vehicles, and that was really special. We hope that you had a chance to visit that. We had a Duesenberg, a one and only, with a McFarland body. That came down from Michigan. We had a Lexington, 1923 Lexington, the only known roadster to exist, came from central Canada. He brought more than 1,000 miles. And we had several Auburns and a Cord and a Gardner with a body made here in Connersville. Really had an opportunity to see some of these cars that were made here. Also, at the same time, Steve Walker put together an antique farm equipment show, and that was well attended with many pieces of farm equipment and lots of people that enjoyed watching that. And at the same time, Kathy had her museum open at that time too, and has since then. So we had lots of help, lots of people came. We had a nice day, and it didn't rain until about 4:15 when most of us were gone. So we thank you.
Thank you. Day 9, of course, that was just yesterday, our parade day, our Bicentennial parade. Bob Martin and Stan Howard in charge of that. We'll hear from Stan here in a little bit, but Bob, there you go. Bob, tell us a little bit about Parade Day.
Well, I'd say first person I need to thank is my wife for all the time that I left her. And it's been a joy. It's been a joy working on this committee, and I'm glad I'm glad I was able to do it. And I thank Mike and Ed and the mayor in Connersville for the opportunity to do this. And of course, it managed to rain on our wonderful parade day. But the parade still got through, and I think it was very good. And we had a wonderful turnout at the open houses at Elmhurst and Canal House, the courthouse, and the Newkirk House. And we had a wonderful breakfast that morning. And we had our meet and greet, which Stan headed up, and the evening with the bluegrass. Part of these and the rock bands. Part of these were with the help of other day coordinators, which made our Saturday event pretty spectacular. And again, I just want to thank all that, helped me put this together. Thank you.
Thank you. And some of those floats were absolutely amazing, even in the rain. They were beautiful floats. You guys did a great job. Congratulations, Bob. And here we are, day 10, reunion day. I hope you had a chance to visit some of the tents from some of the schools, the communities all around Fayette County. What a great day to just wander around and meet and greet people that maybe you haven't seen since your school days. So in charge of the 10th day, reunion day, Jackie Church. Jackie.
Well, first off, I can't begin to tell you how much I've enjoyed these last 3 years. Today is a culmination of work and sweat and tears of many, many people that have went on. I started in April 29th was my first meeting, and it's escalated from there. Today is a sad day for me and a happy day. I'm happy that the sun shined on us and we were able to use the fans that we bought. I was afraid at 72 degrees yesterday and rain that we might not need hand fans, but it did turn out. I want to thank Roberta Squires, Carolyn Bunzendahl, Dan and Diane Flum, Sue Flum Walker. They were a great big help to me through all this. They kept reminding me of things that needed to be done and helping me putting this together today. And couldn't have done it without them. And I'm thankful today was no rain. We had a plus there. So just thank everybody for coming out, and thank you, Mike and Ed for putting up with us, and Leonard for letting us do this for the city. I think it's been very beneficial, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you.
Thank you. And as Jackie mentioned, it's been a long process, and it's not one that was taken lightly, and it's not one that we could have done without the support of our main sponsors, our presenting sponsors. So let me just take a minute to thank our premier sponsors, Fayette County Foundation, the City of Connersville, Fayette Tool and Engineering, and Reed Hospital. Let's give them a round of applause. We could not have done this without them. And of course, every day had a day sponsor as well, and that certainly helped us. Of course, today is the Whitewater Valley Railroad sponsorship, and we thank all of the day sponsors as well for making sure that we could put on the kind of bicentennial party that I think that we all envisioned and we all wanted to, and we thank all of our sponsors for making sure that we could do that. Young man that you may have seen wandering around in so many of the events that we had introduced himself as John Connor, and he was our John Connor for the week. Did a great job, especially with the youngsters, talking about the history of Connersville and what John Connor meant to this area and everything. And so I want to bring up Daniel Phelps, better known, for this week at least, as John Connor, and he has a few awards to give out. John?
Okay, can you all hear me without me using the microphone? No? Okay. I don't like using microphones. I'm really unused to using them. Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for letting me have the honor and privilege of playing our city's founder. It has been so much fun getting to go to all these different events and things and to be there and see all the kids. For those of you who don't know exactly what I've been doing, we had these special John Connor Bicentennial coins made. And we only made so many of them. I think in total I've given out about 1,000 of these over the 10 days of the Bicentennial. And all the kids had to do was find me. I'd be at least at 2 different places each day, and they'd have to find a coin, and they could get 2 coins a day. So the kids who found the most will get a special medal. Oh, and before I forget, I should also thank Lynette Eklund, who is not here, for making this quite amazing era authentic outfit. I just love it. So, any of the kids out there who have found coins, come up here. I know there's 1 or 2 or 3 of you. Yep, I see you way in the back. And while they walk up here, so I could only give these to kids, but I've had a lot of adults asking me if they could get some too. Well, I have some extras. So the kids who have not gotten any by this point, I will give them first preference. But if there's any adults out there that want one, I can now give you one. I know Bob has been egging me on all week wanting one of my coins, but I told him he's not a kid. So, all right, come on up, kids. Okay, just line up right there. Over there. Line up right over there and face the audience. Well, all right then. So let's see. How many did you find? 4? All right. Well, then you get a special top discoverer John Connor medal. You only made so many of these too. So, there's yours. Now I've seen this face a lot. I've seen her almost, I think, just every day. So how many coins did you find? 20? There you go. And how many did you find? 4? All right. Were there any other kids? Found any coins at all? No? Okay. Say, I still have more medals to give out. At least 1, 2. How many did you find? 1. How many did you 2 find? 2. How many did you find? 2. All right. Well, I only have 2 more medals, but I'll tell you what. I'll make sure and get your names, and we might be able to get you more. Okay? Okay. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, kids. Great job. John Connor, terrific job. Let's give him another round of applause for the work that he's done this week. And now we really come to the time that is the more formal time of our ceremony, when we truly do say goodbye to the Bicentennial celebration as we close this chapter and again look ahead to the future of Connorsville that we expect to be bigger and brighter than ever. So to start this more formal part of our ceremony, I want to bring up Ann Frost. Ann is here to sing the national anthem. Oh, thus be it ere, when free men shall stand between their loved home and the war's desolation, blessed with victory and peace, may our heaven-rescued land Praise the Father above, who preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must, for our cause it is just, and this be our motto: in God is our trust. And the star-spangled banner in triumph shall wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. And thank you. That's a verse we don't always often hear, so thank you so much. Very appropriate for this evening. I was fortunate enough to be in on a couple of the early meetings of the Bicentennial 3 years ago. And as we were all sitting around trying to figure out what indeed this celebration would look like and what form it would take, there was one person who kept standing up and saying, "Remember, 3 years will go by before we know it." Well, darned if he wasn't right. 3 years went by before we knew it, leading up to this past week and the Bicentennial celebration. You always need someone who can really take the reins and guide our day coordinators, our volunteers, everything that needs done for not just the 10 days, but all the preparation that goes ahead and in front of that. And I think we picked a good person to really head up this Bicentennial celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to introduce to you the coordinator of Connersville Bicentennial. Please, Mike Sparks.
Thank you. As Betsy said, this process started 3 years ago. Donna Schroeder from Historic Connersville Incorporated, who I had never met previously, contacted me and asked me if I would consider acting as chairman of the Bicentennial. Once I got over my shock, Jenny and I talked about it for a couple days. We knew, well, I'll just tell you up front, we had no idea what a monumental job all of this would be for all of the folks that worked on it. But it didn't take us very long to come to a realization. This is our hometown. We've both spent our entire life here. There was no way we could say no. So with that, we started having meetings. It started out mostly with Historic Connersville members. It grew from that point. The 10-day celebration that you have witnessed is a culmination of efforts by literally hundreds of people. Volunteers, the faithful members that were virtually always at the meetings. I see our police back there. They've done a magnificent job through all of this. The fire department. It literally turned into a community celebration with participation by the community. I ask our committee to just simply do several things. I asked them to put together a celebration that would reacquaint generations with Connersville's proud history. I asked them to put together a celebration that would make us proud and make us want to participate in future growth of this community. I asked them to put together a celebration that would be for everyone. Most importantly, perhaps, I asked them to
put elements in the celebration that would live beyond this 10 days. Uplifting events that would help Connersville grow as we move on beyond 2013. You just heard from each one of our day sponsors, and I would like for all of them to take a step forward again right out here in front. Every day sponsor that was part of the Bicentennial, please step forward once more. Yeah, coordinators. This is the core group. Each one of them had a small army working for them, with them. And the 10 days that we have all just witnessed is a result of their work. Really, the only thing I did was try to give some encouragement and just ask them to keep up the wonderful work that they did. So, I'm prejudiced, but I believe they accomplished their mission, and I want to give them a round of applause. Now, it's dangerous when I start singling people out because it was a cast of hundreds that have worked on this celebration, but there are 2 or 3 people that I am going to single out. One is clear at the back trying to hide. In fact, she's trying to run away at this point. Charlene Grioski is our logistics person through this. She's the one that you saw running around with chairs, tables, anything that needed to be done anywhere during the 10 days. And often she grabbed whoever she could find around her to help. And she made it happen. So Charlene, we couldn't have done it without you.
Come on up here.
You're supposed to be up here, you know.
Come on. Get up here.
After I had been on the committee for a relatively short time, I realized I needed backup, and I needed it fast, and I needed it bad. Thought about that process for a little while. Who could I ask that would get the job done, anything that I needed them to do at any time that was as dedicated as the rest of our members to a successful bicentennial celebration. Didn't take me too long to land on Ed Harrell. Ed, would you step forward? Oh, up here. I knew Ed from several years before I retired from the Career Center, and I realized from working with him out there, Ed's the kind of person who, if you put on a task, if you say, Ed, will you do this? You don't have to watch. You don't even have to think about it anymore. You know it'll be done. He is a very detail-oriented person, and probably as much as anybody I've ever known, he'll take a task. If he doesn't know how to do it in the beginning, he'll figure out how to make it happen, and he gets it done. And Ed has stuck by my side, literally, ever since the first meeting he came to. Virtually anything any of us have asked of Ed, it has been done. This celebration would not have come off the way it has without Ed Harrell. Now the hardest one of all. This 3-year celebration has been fun in the planning. It has been challenging. And at times it has been hard work. Every person standing up here and many of the others that aren't up front but have helped would probably say the same thing. The only reason I survived, and I'm here right now, Somebody asked me the other day, has Jenny always been that little? I think I remember who that was, Mayor. And the answer is yes. But in terms of heart, in terms of her commitment to this, nobody has worked harder. And literally, she's the reason that I made it. So now we've come to it. As amazing as it sounds, the 3 years are over. The 10-day celebration is coming to a close. I think it has been worth it. I think Connersville is a better place as a result of what these folks have done. And I think Connersville will be a better place in the future because of what the Bicentennial Committee has done. And I want to thank everybody that came just to be a part. I especially want to thank, I've been asked several times, what is the crowd estimate that watched the parade yesterday? I have no idea. But I think it was quite large. And I'll forever be grateful for that view of people lining the streets all the way down Grand, all the way down through town, in the rain. They came anyway because they realized this is important to our community. So thank you to Connersville, basically, is what I'm saying, for giving me this opportunity, for my wife, and I'm sure each person here would say the same. Thank you for giving us the opportunity through your support to put on this celebration that was really the community celebration from day one. So thank you all.
And now, of course, this was the City of Connersville's party, and as we mentioned earlier, the City of Connersville helped so much with its financial support to make sure that we could have this kind of celebration. So it's my honor to bring up the mayor of the great city of Connersville, Indiana, Leonard Urban. Mayor.
Thank you, Betsy. Thank you, Betsy. You hear me? I have a couple of things. I'd like to thank everybody, but especially I've kind of forgotten. I have an executive assistant down at the office. Melissa, would you come up here a minute? For the last 3 years, Mike has pushed me, and just as soon as I get to the office, I push her. And she's copied, and she's done, and she's worked, and she's just a great gal. She's been down there first with Maury Connell and then with me. So I'd like for you to give Melissa a hand. John Pawsey worked so hard on the race down on the road, the soapbox. I can't believe how hard he worked. But again, I've pushed him all over the county, all over the city, having him do things in the rain and out of the rain. John Pawsey, our Channel 3 director. I told all these department heads just as soon as this was over I was going to take a vacation. They said, thank God. But it's been a wonderful celebration. I just don't think anything ever went wrong. And I'm going to say that when I get this proclamation. They say they're mailing it. I hope it's coming by Pony Express or something, because it isn't here yet. But I'll ramble on till it gets here. Oh, wait a minute. Here comes old Howard in the mail truck. Would this be Sunday mail? I didn't know the mail ran on Sunday. I thought they were short of money. What'd you bring me, a gift?
You're in luck, Mayor. Normally, we don't deliver mail that's unaddressed. Oh. But the service sent the most experienced courier on hand, and I knew where you'd be.
Okay. 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 Well, you all know why there's no address on here. Melissa didn't put it on there. Couldn't be my fault, could it? It's all in fun, but I would like to read this proclamation. I spent time yesterday and I wanted to have it full of meaning but not a lot of words, so I want you to listen carefully as I try to read it to you. From the office of the mayor, City of Connersville, a proclamation. Whereas John Connor established the village of Connersville, Indiana on March 4th, 1813, and whereas on January the 1st, 1819, Fayette County was created and the village of Connersville became the county seat, and whereas the village of Connersville was incorporated as a town in 1841, and whereas the citizens of Connersville voted on June the 16th, 1869 to become a city, and whereas Connersville celebrated its centennial in 1913, and whereas Connersville celebrated its sesquicentennial in 1963, whereas Connersville has now completed its official celebration of the Bicentennial of 2013, whereas citizens of Connersville and Fayette County have totally enjoyed remembering the past, looking to the future, by being entertained by numerous events of art, music, fireworks, and patriotic activities. And whereas the citizens and businesses of Connersville have decorated their homes and businesses beyond expectation, and whereas the citizens of Connersville and Fayette County will continue throughout the rest of this year and the coming years to remember these 10 great days, which will go down in history books as one of the greatest celebrations to ever take place in the city of Connersville. And whereas, as mayor of the city, I declare this celebration overwhelmingly successful. We thank God for the weather He gave us, the tranquility that was displayed by all concerned, and especially for those who came together and worked for this great celebration. Now therefore, I, Leonard E. Urban, Mayor of the City of Connersville, do hereby proclaim Sunday, July the 7th, 2013, the conclusion of the Connersville Bicentennial, and will close the Bicentennial celebration by the lowering of the Bicentennial flag, and commend the committee for its dedication to all events, and thank the community for its support. It is our belief that all our citizens have shown pride and rededication to see Connersville proceed to the year of 2063, when we will celebrate the 250th year of our city. In testimony whereof, I have here set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the City of Connersville on this 7th day of July, 2013. Leonard E. Urban, Mayor of the City of Connersville, Julie A. Greason, Clerk Treasurer. Thank you. Before I leave, when we first started this and we were looking for a chairman, there was a young lady named Paulette Hayes that stepped up and agreed to be chairman. We made arrangements, Donna Schroeder and I and Paulette were on Connersville Speaks on a Thursday night, and we talked about the celebration and how it was going to be organized. We were going to start working on it. And just 4 or 5 days after that television program, Paulette passed away unexpectedly. Of course, you know the rest of the story, how Mike took over and stepped up to the plate, and that's when we got started. But in honor of Paulette Hayes today, I would like for us to bow our heads in a moment of silence. She had this in her mind, in her heart. I'd like for us just for a minute, if you would, bow with me. Lord, we thank you for Paulette Hayes. Amen. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it. I've enjoyed everything. I do want to tell you a funny story. They invited me down to this dig. You know, I'm not a professional archaeologist, but I have buried a few things in my day. But Ron Wood gets me down there and gets me down digging. And I'm digging, and then I put it in a 5-gallon bucket, and he says, you sift it. And I'm beginning to find things that were put there in 1813. They got my name on them. Very strange, but I enjoyed every, Ron, wherever you are. 1813. But everything is good. And I am 70, and I know now what it's like to wet my pants, because yesterday we were waving and the water was running down our arms right down in our pants. And I know what it's going to be like when I get to the nursing home. Thank you all for everything you've done.
Betsy, after the
Thank you, Mayor, for that visual. Now, as we said, this is the time when we say goodbye to the bicentennial celebration, and we do so, Mayor and Mike, if you will help us with the lowering of the bicentennial flag, and to help us with this, the playing of taps from the Fayette County Veterans Honor Guard. Now, before our benediction, those of you who were with us for the opening ceremonies at the Canal House know that Stan Howard, we were pleased to have him perform for us a brand new song, an original song that he had written just for the bicentennial. So now, as we close out our ceremonies and say goodbye to these 10 days, Stan is back with us. He has written yet another verse that he is going to entertain us with as we get ready to close this out. Stan?
I normally don't, I'll take this off. I normally don't use a cheat sheet, but I just came up with this morning, okay? And as I was sitting at home, I thought, you know, we need something to catapult us, to challenge us for what's ahead, because we're looking, part of this celebration is looking to our future. And I think the future is bright. Why not? Let's say it is, because it is. If we're upright, the future is bright. And look how bright it is today. I think that's just something that illustrates how bright the future is here if you live here. And I wrote one more verse for a future, so if I go a little slow, forgive me. Our celebration's over soon, and we will soon be gone. But there's a group of younger folks who are sure to carry on. Their time to celebrate will come, and it won't be too long, 'cause we're Connorsville, we're going to stay strong. We're Connorsville, we're going to stay strong. We'll stick together through the right and wrong. And in 2063, I know you still can sing this song, 'cause we're Connorsville, We're going to stay strong. We'll stay strong.
Stan, thank you very much. Of course, this isn't quite the end of our celebration. Hope everybody has a chance to stick around for the Neil McCoy concert. They'll be going on about an hour or so. And then, of course, our Luminary Launch finale will be going on after that. So we're not quite done with everything yet, but this is certainly the formal part of our closing ceremonies. Once again, you all have done such a terrific job. You need to be and should be proud of what you have accomplished over these 10 days. And as the mayor said, as Mike has said, I think everybody has reflected on the fact that this is not just the end of our bicentennial celebration, but it's a beginning of a new era and a new future and a new beginning for the city of Connersville. We know the kind of people that we have here in town. We've seen what we can do when we all work together, and we certainly are expecting to do great things, more great things as we go on. We are, as Stan said, Connersville strong, 200 years strong, and Spartan strong. And we will show that as we go on in our future. So again, thank all of you, and as Tom T. Hall said, thank you, Connersville. Thank you, and enjoy the concert tonight.